So the profits which is been generated or the revenues which is been generated in that particular company, profit, whatever the profit is been earned or it is the revenues is been generated. So once they come to know these are the divisions or the units in each period, either by increasing the revenue or optimizing the expenses. Hi and a warm welcome to you all dear students. Hi, JWsir, Commerce Faculty, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Dear students, today we shall take up session 3 of unit 4 of a business policy, which is related to organizational structure. That is of unit 4. In the last session, I was explaining to you about the various concepts and the topics related to organizational structures. So in today, we shall take up regarding the establishment of profit center in business. So let us understand the definition of profit center. It says a profit center refers to a part or a division. Profit center means it is a part or a division of an entity, that is a concern or a firm or a company or organization, and that is capable of, that particular company or organization is very much capable of generating profits or revenues, we say revenues independently without having any dependent on others by using the resources of that particular company or the organization. So a profit center refers to what? It is the part or a division of an entity or an organization or a company which is capable of generating its own revenues on its own without depending on any other company or any other organization or entity, and whereby how it is generating by using its own resources which is there in that particular organization or the company. Now, since a profit center generates a revenue independently, because as I told you, the profit centers is generating the revenues or the income independently without depending on the others. So it says its profits are calculated separately. Why? Because to evaluate its performance. So the profits which is been generated or the revenues which is been generated in that particular company is being evaluated separately, or it has been measured separately, because in order to evaluate, to find out how the performance of that particular individual or rather than collectively. So here they are evaluating the profits which is being earned in that particular company or the revenues which is being earned in that particular company. That is that is how they are evaluating it. That is through the performance of an individual who is doing that particular work, as well as rather than it is collectively, rather than taking everything into consideration for profit calculation. So there are many divisions in any entity if you take. So if you see, there are many divisions or departments or in any of the companies or organization, while some of the divisions or the companies, some of the divisions or the the departments act as a support system for the others, such as accounting, then others such as the sales department is capable of earning revenues through their activities. So here there will be many departments, and there are many departments in the organization or the companies, and it says some of the divisions or the departments will be a supporting department to the other department, where in kind of accounting departments, or it can be in the sales department where it is capable of earning more revenues, that is through their activities or through their work. Now, based on the fact whether a department is capable of generating the revenues through its activities, the department can be classified as a profit center or a cost center. Now, based upon the fact that whether that particular division or the department is able to generate the profit on its own or income or revenues on its own, so it says through its activities which is been doing in that particular department. So a department can be classified, it can be classified as whether it is a profit center or it is a cost based center. Cost center or profit center. Now a department is said to be profit center. When a department is called as a profit center, see, a department or a division is called as a profit center if its activities leading to the generation of revenues, right, for that particular company by using its own resources of that particular company. So you can call that particular department as a profit center division or a department when it can on its own generate the profits, when it can on its own generate the profits by using its own resources of that particular company without taking or without depending on any other departments in that company. Now, on the other hand, if you see, on the other hand, a department or a division is said to be a cost center when we call that particular department or that particular division as a cost center. That is, if it doesn't contribute the revenue to the entity. So if it is not generating any kind of revenues from that particular division or the department, then we call it as a cost center. It is not a profit center. Now, what are the main purposes of the profit center? The next important aspect, the purpose of the profit center. It says the main purpose is of identifying the profit center, and that is why it is in order to calculate its profits, right, as well as the losses as a separate unit or segment within that particular organization. Why you need this profit centers? What is the necessity? The main purpose or the main important, or we say the main purpose of this particular profit center is in order to identify a profit center and is to calculate its profit, whatever the profit is being earned or the revenues is being generated, as well as what are the losses in that particular division or the department of that particular separate unit or a segment within that particular organization or the company. Secondly, it says the main purpose is it helps in determining means finding out how much a particular unit is adding to the profit of the organization. Now, if there are 7 departments, now each department how much is giving or how much it is generating the profits in each of the departments. So how much contribution is coming and how much they are contributing towards the profit of the organization. So if manufacturing production department is giving 10% of the profit, likewise sales department through its activity is giving 20% like this of the profit. So here the main purpose of the profit center is in order to find out how much profit is being generated through that particular division or departments, which can be added to the main profit of the organization. Then profit center also helps in identifying the most profitable units, that is, and least profitable units in the organization. So the main purpose of this particular profit center is in order to find out the profit centers which is helping and it is easy to identify. So it says profit centers also helps in identifying which are the divisions or the department which is giving more revenue or fetching more revenue, right, and which is having more profitable units, and whereas which are the departments or the divisions which is having less profitable units. So, and this consequently leads to more accurate analysis and the cross comparison between different units of the same organization. So by this what happens, it is very easy and it leads to what? More accurate analysis. Easily you can find out, accurately you can tell, yes, these departments, from these departments we are getting so much of profit and is a profit center department or the division, and these are the units or the departments or the divisions where it is not so much profit oriented or profit centered departments or divisions. So you can easily cross verify and cross comparison can be done between these different units of the organizations. Now, after identifying the profitable and the low profit units in the organization, now accountants, what they do, or the management people, top level management, they decide to allocate the resources, right, and lays down its future strategies in order to increase the revenue of the least profitable unit. So once they come to know these are the divisions or the units which is very much important on part of what you say, on part of that particular units are giving more revenues or generating more revenues, and these are the units which is having less profitable, these are the less profitable units. Taking this into consideration, the managements as well as the accountants, they will decide and allocate the resources to that particular units which are having less profitable units, and so see that to get or to generate more revenue out of that less profitable units by allocating more resources to them. And also the management decides the ceasing of certain activities. So along with allocating of resources to the less profitable units, so they also try to, that is, cease means remove the activities altogether based on the profitability and other factors. Now students, coming to the next topic, that is of characteristics of profit center. So what are the characteristic features we say? The characteristic features or characteristics of the profit center is it is treated as a separate unit. So profit centers are treated as a separate unit or reporting segment in the organization. So it will not be mixed with the cost centers or the less profitable units. Then as a separate reporting segment, it has its own accounting and calculation of profit and losses. Because it is a separate unit, it is been made as a separate unit. So here accounting as well as the calculation of the profit as well as the losses will be done separately. They are responsible for the revenue generation of the organization. So profit centers, they are the most important units or the divisions or the departments where they will be generating more revenues or getting revenues to the organization, responsible for revenue generation in the organization. Next, it helps in management decisions. So this kind of profit centers, surely it helps in management decision making regarding the fund allocation and diversifying of strategies. Then the next point it says, that is the next topic here we ask, how does it work? How this profit center works? See, profit center works is like this. The management is responsible for managing a profit. So every management in the organization, they are responsible for managing whatever the profit and whatever the profit centers are there in that particular organization, and do have decision making authorities regarding their management. And the work, how it works, this work involves a lot of pressure, because as management needs to ensure that the sales of the product and the services are always more than the cost. So here the work in this profit center units is very much of lot of pressure, is having lot of pressure, as management needs, in order they need to ensure that the sales of that particular product which is being sold, as well as whatever the services they are rendering, right, they are always more than the cost. Then only you can get profit. Now they make sure that the unit is profitable in each period, either by increasing the revenue or optimizing the expenses, and sometimes using both the techniques simultaneously. Now here, how they are functioning, how the profit center functions or works, it says they make sure that that particular unit or the profit, the division which is a profit center, it says that particular unit is a profitable in each period. In every period, it should be a profitable period, right? How it is going to happen? That is by increasing their revenue, by allocating more resources to them, or optimizing the expenses. That is by generating more resources or finance, or we say the revenues, and optimizing means that is reducing the expenses, and sometimes using both the techniques together, they will be working on. Now, as we mentioned earlier, it says the identification of these profit centers is done basically in order to find out which are the divisions which are more profitable in the organization, and surely which will help in the root cause analysis, because it says it is behind the least profitable units which is to be funding allocation has to be done, and cutting out some of the activities forever in order to reduce the cost or the expenses. Now, if you see the example of a department store, so in the department store, it says wherein different products can be categorized, right? We have different kinds of products being sold in the department stores, and into the different sub units, and thus different profit centers. So here in the department store, where you will be having different sections, different departments, and that particular departments will be working according to their whatever the functions has to be done, or whatever the work has been allocated, they'll be doing it, and whatever the allocation has to be made for each department, they'll be doing it. And it says that will be categorized into different sub-units. So the main unit will be divided into main sub-units, and thus the different profit centers, even the profit centers also will be different here. Now, if we take the first one under this particular department store, we have the clothing center, then we have the clothing department, then groceries department, then electronic goods department, sales, seasonal goods like gardening, kits for our festival related goods, then accounting unit, like this. So therefore here in this particular department store, they can create a profit center for each of the units separately, that is excluding the accounting unit. So leaving the accounting unit, all the other departments will be made as a profit center unit, which will help the management in finding out the contribution of each profit centers. So with how much the clothing department is making profit or earning revenue, then how much is the grocery department, how much it is fetching more, how much it is fetching revenue, or electronic goods, how much the profit you can get from this particular revenue, and how much you can get from the seasonal goods department, like this. So excluding the accounting unit, which will help the management in determining or finding out the contribution of each profit centers, right, to the revenue at the end of the period. And also it says the accounting unit is a cost center and not a profit center. Accounting unit is the cost center because here you are going to find out how much accounts, that means how much revenue, what is your expenses, what is your incomes, right? So all this will be coming to know. So here it is not a profit center, rather it is a cost center, and since it doesn't generate any kind of revenues for the store. So here in this particular accounting unit, you are not going to generate any kind of revenues or the profit, because you are only working on how much revenues you earn, what is your expenses, what are your incomes, like this you will be finding out. Now students, coming to the types of profit centers, there are two types of profit centers. One is, it says a department within the organization, as a department within the organization, then as a strategic unit in a big organization. These two are the two important types of profit centers. Now let us take the first one as the department within the organization. It means these are the profit centers that are small departments in the organization, like sales division or department, investment department, divisions, etc. Now coming to the strategic unit or big organization, it says in a big organization with different sub areas, profit centers serves as a different strategy units, and which is being used for segmental reporting purposes. Example, you can see in a bank, if you take any bank, different products like retail banking, wealth management, loans sectors, then mortgage divisions can be reported as a separate units, and it has been identified with different profit center groups, right? Now what are the uses of this profit centers? The profit centers, surely it helps in finding out the profit or the losses of a separate unit of an organization. So any profit center of any company or any organization you take, surely it will be helping you out or helping the organization in finding out or determining what are the profits and what are the losses in that separate units of that particular organization. And they will also help in future analysis. They will help you to calculate, that is regarding the future analysis of different financial ratios such as return on investment, how much your investment and how much you are going to get back, and when you are going to get back that particular investment. Then profitability ratios, how much profitability in terms of ratio you are going to earn, right, of a particular unit. So all this you will be able to understand and you will come to know because of the profit center. Then it says it facilitates the management decision making regarding funding of allocation to various units, then devising the strategies, what are the different strategies you have to adopt where there is low performing units, where they are not generating up to the mark, or where the profit centers are very low. Then they help in finding out the variances, that is the differences between the budgeting and actual cost. So the budgeting, what you are budgeted for that particular department, how much budget you have made for that particular department, and what is the cost incurred or actual cost involved or it is incurred. So that you can easily find out through this profit centers, which helps in budgetary control. So taking the budget and the actual whatever the cost involved, actual cost, easily you can make or you can control the budgeting part. Students, these are the important aspects related to this particular unit. Now let us see the highlights, what we have understood in this particular topic. So here we started with establishing of profit center business. So I told you definition of profit center. The definition of profit center, it says a profit center refers to the part or the division of an entity that is capable of generating revenues independently by using the resources of the entity. So here we can see department is said to be a profit center if the activities leads to the generation of revenue for the entity by the usage of resources of the company. But whereas on the other hand, a department or a division is said to be cost center if it doesn't contribute to the revenue of the entity. The main purpose of this profit center is, in order to identify a profit center, is to calculate its profit as well as the losses as a separate unit or segment within the organization, where it says, second, it helps in finding out how much a particular unit is adding to the profit of the organization. Thirdly, the profit center also helps in identifying the most profitable units and the least profitable units in the organization. Then it will lead to more accurate analysis and also cross comparison between different department units of the same organization. Then after finding or identifying the profitable and low profitable units in the organization, the accountants or the management, surely they are going to take a decision regarding the allocation of the resources, and they will surely lay down what is the future strategy in order to increase the profits or revenues in that least profit centers or units. And also management decide in ceasing or taking away of certain activities altogether in order to, on the basis of profitability and other factors. Now, characteristic features: the profit center is treated as a separate unit or separate reporting segment in the organization, and as a separate reporting segment, it has its own accounting and calculation of profit and losses. Then it is also responsible for revenue generation of the organization. Then it helps in management decision making regarding the fund allocation and diversifying of the strategies. Then how does it work? The work involves a lot of pressure, as management needs to ensure that sales of the products and services are always more than the cost. And whereas it says the management is responsible for managing the profit centers, and they do have decision regarding making authority regarding the management. And they say that the unit is profitable in each period either by increasing the revenue or optimizing, reducing the expenses, and sometimes using both the techniques simultaneously together. So example here, if you take a departmental store, we have so many departments, divisions under that: clothing department, grocery, electronic goods, then seasonal goods, then accounting units. So here accounting units will be separately taken away because it's not a profit center, whereas all the other units will be treated as a profit center, and they will come to know how much each of the departments or divisions under this particular department store is fetching the revenue, or it is gaining the revenue, or how much it is giving as a profit center, and how much it is gaining the profits, and how much is contributing towards the overall contribution of the organization. Two types of profit centers: department within the organization and strategic unit in the big organization. So here I told you bank example. Under this it comes retail banking, wealth management, loans, mortgages. All these are reported separate unit, and they are identified within the profit centers of the group. And it helps in finding out the profit or loss of a separate units in the organization. Then it helps in further analysis like calculation of different financial ratios like return on the investment, as well as the profitable ratio of that particular unit. And also it facilitates management decision making regarding the funding of allocation to various departments, which is where there is very low profit centers, devising the strategies and various policies in order to improve the low performing units. And they also help in finding out the variances or differences between the budgeting actual cost, thereby helps in controlling of the budget. So students, these are the important topics related to profit center units. So they can ask you for 5 marks or 10 marks regarding this particular topic, establishing of profit centers in business. So they can ask you write a note on profit centers in the establishment of profit centers in the organization or in the business. So students, hope that you understood the topic. See you in the next session. Until then, take care. Have a nice day. Thank you.